Right now we're going to talk about how to find the area of a trapezoid. So trapezoids are a little weirder than the shapes that we've dealt with so far, but if you follow the formula, it's not too bad. So just like in our other shapes, any line that's straight up and down from the top to the bottom is going to be your height. And any slanted line is going to be a side. So we're already familiar with that. That's good. The major difference between trapezoids and the other shapes that we've talked about is when it comes to the bases. And yes, I said bases this time. So with a triangle, we only have one base, and so we don't have to worry about that. With a rectangle, the bases are the same, no matter if you're talking about the top or the bottom, because the two sides that are across from each other are equal. But if you'll notice, we've got this line down here and we've got this line up here. They're not the same length. And same thing over here. And so we call these base 1 and base 2. And it really doesn't matter which one's 1 and which one's 2. I'm just going to call the bottom one base 1 and the top one base 2. So our formula for finding the area of a trapezoid is A equals 1/2 parentheses base 1 plus base 2 close parentheses times the height. I know that looks a little crazy, but we're going to break it down in a minute. It's not too bad. When we learned about triangles, I reminded you that when you're finding half of something, you're really just dividing it by 2. So I prefer to write this as base 1 plus base 2 times the height and then divide by 2. It means the exact same thing. So just like we did with triangles, we're going to write out the steps. It just has one extra step, and that's that you're adding your bases together. So step 1 is add base 1 plus base 2. Then everything else is the same as the triangle formula. Once you have that, you multiply times the height, and last you divide by 2. So add your two bases, base 1 plus base 2, multiply times your height, and divide by 2. Again, we're not using any sides. If they give you those, it's used as extra information to see if you understand how the formula works. So let's look at 2 examples to see how this actually works. Just like our other area problems, I always want you to start by writing out the formula. Base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. And then just like the other ones, plug in those numbers. So we're not using any sides, so I can go ahead and cross that off. Base 1 is 12, base 2 is 10, and the height is 4. And then I just keep going. So 12 plus 10 is 22. So then I'm doing 22 times 4. 22 times 4 is 88. And half of 88 is 44. And so my answer is 44 square inches. I know that's the most involved one we've done so far, but it's not too bad as long as you're using that formula. Add up the bases, multiply times the height, divide by 2. Let's look at this one over here. So I'm starting the exact same way. Base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. Again, they've given me a side, so I'm going to get rid of that one. And I'm going to add my bases, which is 7 plus 5. I'm going to multiply times my height, which is 3, and I'm going to divide by 2. So 7 plus 5 is 12, and 12 times 3 is 36, and half of 36 is 18. And you don't have to do this stuff in your head. If you need to go over to the side for your multiplication or your division, that's fine. And feel free to rewatch if you need to see parts of it again.